Alright guys, as you can see, the crazy hair is gone. Now, that just looked crazy. Now, video about you see together, I'm getting together. It's now what? Oh God, it's 5 in the morning. Oh my God. I'm getting ready to put together the video I made today. It's a little disjointed, but then again, they usually are. I do apologize for that. You'll be happy at the end. There's some pretty pictures of my doggies, so you can get to see what my doggies look like. That way none of you will take this disaster of a video and call Homeland Security and say that you felt a terrorist threat just happened after watching it. But this is me without my crazy hair now, and just wanted to give you a little quick intro into the video. Oh, you're going to love a nice thing about the video. The freaking radar or camera or both, I don't know how the damn thing works, failed again and almost bashed into the back of a car. Well, I didn't almost, but you'll see. In fact, I even talked about how well my radar's working at the beginning of the video. Famous frickin' last words. So, if nothing else you want to watch, you're going to watch the radar fail so you can laugh at me using a bad word. I do apologize for the bad word. And I'm going to let it go, and we're going to get going, and we're going to play the video now. This is my 5,000-mile checkup on my little Honda. She's been sitting in the garage for a while. I've been driving my Ford a lot lately because I got up to 5,000 and I couldn't get an appointment set. So, here comes the video. That's the beginning of the video, and I will talk to you later. Take care, guys. Well, good morning, guys. It's the first time in a while I've been in Ruby. Ruby's been up at 5,012 miles, and I haven't been able to set her up for an oil change. I really don't want to put more miles on her until I got my oil change. Boy, I don't think this thing's aimed right. So we're heading off to Charlie's, have an appointment. I'm going to see if I can get that gas tank lid straightened out. As we know, there seems to be some kind of manufacturing defect with the top of the gas cap. Well, not the gas cap, but the door to the gas tank. So we need to get that all set. Boy, it's been a while I've been in this car. I'm not used to the position I'm in this seat. So what essentially we're going to do is going to get oil change, going to get a tire rotation, main basic things that you would normally need at this point, and then get all that settled. I'm also going to see if I got to find out about the cost of getting the transmission fluid, or the transmission fluid drained and looked at. As I said, I've been having trouble with shifting in this car. Not shifting, but mostly power transfer from the battery to the wheels. Sometimes it's downright really rough. Rough to the point where it just can't be right. I don't know. You know, I have the extended warranty, so I'm not overly concerned. I just like to find out what's going on. Nobody else seems to be complaining about it. They say some people feel it, but it's not very major. Sometimes in this car it's really rough for me, and I don't think it should be like that. And of course it never happens with the dealer, so I have no way of showing it to them. So I'm going to find out what it'll cost to do that. Probably prohibitive at this point, and I'm not going to worry too much about it. I mean, eventually I'll do a complete changeover of the fluid, probably at about 40,000 miles for safety and so forth. A few things I wanted to say, then, you know, I'll pop you back on when we get to Charlie's, and we'll get all things started on this car. One thing, I appreciate any comments you guys put in the comment section. I try to answer all comments, although sometimes they just don't show up properly in my system. So if I don't answer, it's not because I'm ignoring you. Also, you know, if you ask a question, go back and look. If you guys are not getting my answers or my responses, then something's really weird going on. You know, because I'm not getting responses to my responses. So I don't know if you guys just, you know, you heard what you need to hear or whatever. Just remember, you're always welcome to email me at verdier400@gmail.com. I generally will answer everybody within a day if I can. It's not like I get 1,000 letters. I mean, dudes, I got like 80 subscribers. I mean, this is a very niche channel, so you know, I'm not like some kind of celebrity or anything. But also, I'm more than happy to talk with people on the phone. I'm generally pretty easy to talk to, and you know, I like talking. And if you have some questions, you need to talk face to face, I'm willing to talk face to face. I mean, you know, on the phone or text or whatever. If we're not getting our gist through the internet, so please, you know, use the email if you have to. If the comments are too difficult, or you know, if you don't really want it out in the open. Also, I think some of you, if you want to, you might want to look at some of the Ford videos. of course, most of you guys, watching the Honda videos are, real Honda fans, or, love your insides. I love my inside too. Ruby's my favorite, but I'm growing a significant appreciation for the Ford, and learning a lot of interesting things about it. And of course, I had to drive it for the past week or two now because, well, Ruby was at her maximum for mileage, and I didn't want to put a bunch of miles before switching her oil out. It's already bad enough. I got to drive 38 miles to get my oil changed. I really don't, but I bought the car from these guys. They did good by me, and I just assume give them my business if I can. Although I have a place nearby, I think it's Lee Honda. They're very good too. But like I said, feel free to email me if you want to talk about anything or have any questions. There is one person who's been talking about misalignment that he's been seeing, especially in the passenger doors. I haven't had a chance to check it out because I haven't pulled the car out in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I want to check that out, and if any of you guys have seen in your Honda Insights, I had talked about a possible misalignment with the trim on near the back of the door, which I thought was more of an optical illusion than anything else on my part. Looking at it the way it's designed. But if you see any misalignments in your doors, let me know so we can pass that on and find out. I think it was a one-up for him, but it could be something similar, that most people aren't noticing that all of them have. Kind of like the fuel doors. The fuel doors are stick out more in the back, towards the back, than they do the front in the opening, and all of them seem to be like that. It seems like just a manufacturing defect. Well, not a massive defect, it's weird. And so, that's something else, we have some curiosity about. So if anyone has any information on that, by all means. So I'm going to cut this video short, and we're going to go back when we get back to Charlie's, and then I'll give you a diagnosis on how good the car is doing. I'm sure all they're going to say, oh, we did the oil change, yeah, pay us. But, what the heck? Might as well make a small video out of the entire situation. And that's pretty much it. That's the state of affairs right now. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Well, just a little late. Well, it's actually 12:30, so I'll be there about 3 minutes late. So hopefully they won't give me any attitude. You never can tell. It is the dealer, so, there are limits. And my radar's working pretty well today. Who would have thought, right? Especially with me with my luck. But this is Charlie's domain. Charlie's owns just about everything out here, and just about everyone, I would assume. And we're going to see how things go today, and I will give you a final update when we're done. Then I want to talk about the stereo real quick also. So here we are at Charlie's Honda, my old stomping ground. This is where I got Ruby. Oh, that's a funky yellow color. And we're going to pull in here, and we're going to take care of business. Ugh, I don't like that orange. Well, guys, it's all set. They did the best they could with the fuel door. Still not quite where it should be, but it's good enough for me. They said they didn't want to do any more without going to a body shop. They didn't feel comfortable going any further than that, which is fine. I can deal with it. I mean, it's not going to kill me. Oil change done on the house. I guess the first oil change is free at Charlie's, which I definitely do appreciate. All synthetic and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have my own oil at the time. I did order some Zepro, but was a little late getting here. So, yeah, we'll get that done. Next time I'll use the Zepro, and it should be all set. One thing I did want to talk about is I did a video concerning changing out my speakers. I've been a big critic of the sound system in this car. It is the premium sound system, and in actuality, it can sound pretty good at times. In fact, it can sound fantastic at times. It's very touch and go about what you play. Let me hit sport mode because I don't want to get into any kind of crap here. God, I love sport mode. It's a lot of fun. But the real big problem as far as I'm concerned with this system is probably the DSP, which is the digital sound processor. It's a very, 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 very screechy system. It's got a lot of highs, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not bad. It's got a lot of highs, and the highs are just a little too screechy, and they tend to come too much out of the center speaker. Changing the speakers is not really going to probably fix that aspect of it, but it will change the overall timbre of the sound. Also, I plan on doing a lot of dynamatting, which will add a lot of, should engage the mid-range in the car, and, get rid of any kind of, God, I'm sorry, I'm so overtired, so it's hard for me to complete my sentences. Jesus, boy, you are really screeching today, aren't you? It should also, get rid of any extra vibrations that the car has, increasing sound quality and so forth. But the main reason also for the speaker change is that I find certain notes and so forth, these tweeters tend to buzz and rattle at certain notes. And the rattling seems to be more the maximum capability of the tweeters. I have to listen at very high volumes. We're talking, the maximum is 40. We're talking, I average 27 to 35 on almost everything. So I listen pretty loud, so I do push the system. I already have the subwoofer hooked up, and the reason why I didn't get any feedback from the ANC system, which is the automatic noise canceling system that uses the microphones to, give you the best sound quality and all that kind of stuff, kind of shape the music. I'd say the main reason of that has a lot to do with the fact that the main subwoofer that's part of the car is disconnected, and I hooked my own, but I didn't run through a line level input. I actually hooked through a speaker wire input, which literally I ran off the wires that went into the original subwoofer, went into this amplifier. It's called an audio control amplifier. They're very good for this kind of stuff, for these real high-end systems that are built into these cars, so you don't really mess around with them and fool them up too badly. That's my paddles I'm using there. Slow down going down this hill. Speed limit's dropping to 35. Get as much regen as I can as I go. So I think by going through that actual speaker wire system and running directly through the system, as opposed to running line levels and having to use, running off the old amp and the original sub going, I think the ANC didn't have any problems with it, and that's why I didn't have the feedback problems a lot of other people do have when they switch subs. And the sub is plenty loud enough. It doesn't. I don't need a sub that gives people heart palpitations when I drive by. That's not my job. Not what I'm up for. I'm out just to get better sound. But I figure if I change all these speakers to these kickers, the kickers can handle very high volumes without distortion issues. That's something that they're very well known for. Or at least that's what a lot of people tell me they're known for. I mean, I'll let you know when I get them. Plus, once they get in there, they're going to do more sound dampening for me. Let's see if it sees this car. Are you going to see it? 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 Are you going to... Fuck, no, you're not going to... excuse my language. Nope, not going to see it. God, this camera in this car drives me berserk sometimes. It works so well sometimes, and sometimes it just doesn't see diddly squat to engage the brakes. But I figure changing all the speakers and putting in the dynamatting is going to be the first step to see if I can get this system to handle the volumes I like without any kind of rattle and any noise. The rattles are not all that much. As I said, the Honda dealer did a fantastic job. That was Charlie's that you just saw back there. When I first got the car had a lot of rattles. Strangely enough, I've listened to an EX series. Their tweeters are definitely different. They don't have the sub or the center. And the one that I listened to, it didn't have any. It had very few rattles. There was a lot less rattling. So something about the touring model and all the extra speakers and just the amount. I think it's the amount of power because this amp that they have built in, it pushes in a tremendous amount of power. Well, not tremendous, but a lot of power. About I think over 500 watts, which is penny ante in the stereo business, but it's pretty significant for these speakers, which are not very expensive. I've looked them up. They're not all that expensive, and they're not super high end. They're made by Foster. They're okay. So I figure I'm going to do that first, and if I'm still not happy, and if I have to deal with this digital sound processor, the only way to deal with that is to use what's called an audio control. Essentially what it makes it possible for you is to hook through the speaker lines that are coming directly out of the amp that's part of the car, and then you could hook your own amps, your own DSP after the fact without fooling around with anything that has to do with your screens or with the main system itself. So it won't really fool around with the stereo itself, which is very, very important. Keeps the car pretty much as close to as stock, and still being able to fool around with the system. And I really kind of like that. That way you'll be able to control most of your controls directly from the screen, and you don't really have to change the car all that much. And it's something I really like. I'll do that if I have to. I prefer not to. I prefer to stick with the system because it can really shine when it wants to. So I'm sorry I kind of went off on a tangent discussing the stereo, but I wanted, a few people had some questions. What's going on? Yes, I'm picky, but like I said, I have to listen to high volumes to really enjoy the music, and I mean very high volumes, and it pushes the systems to its limits. So I'm going to sign off with that. I don't really have much else to discuss right now with the car. She's got new oil. I could drive her around a little bit more. Boy, I don't know what they must have run they probably sat there and ran the engine forever. They got my fuel mileage down to 39.6. That pisses me off. Whatever. I'll get whatever fuel mileage I get. I'm not fooling around with the car. I like to just drive, and I like to get the cruise control to take care of it for me. And if I don't get the greatest gas mileage so much, I won't have bragging rights. I get great gas mileage in that Ford Fusion. I'm pulling in like 54 miles to the gallon in that car. And I'm becoming very impressed overall with aspects of that car. So, I'm going to do a little bit more discussion about that car, especially the value that I think it is, because right now Ford is really pushing them out the door, offering incredible incentives, and I'm going to discuss that in another video. I do suggest some of you guys watch some of the Ford videos. There's some interesting things there to learn about the car. So take care. This is Verdier out. If you have any questions, I told you earlier in the video how to get in touch with me. I'm always happy to talk with people on the phone if they have any, heavy duty questions or they don't understand me, because I rattle and ramble and talk like a doofus. And as I said, I've got like 5 hours sleep and I'm really exhausted. So I do apologize for the obnoxiousness of this video. So take care, guys. Verdier out, and sei gesund. Here's a final addendum to the video. What? Is she even going to focus? Probably not. That is Daisy. And that is Idget, the Impasta Wawa. We thought he was a Chihuahua, but he isn't a Chihuahua. He's kind of half Chihuahua and half something else. So he's an Impasta Wawa. And that's Daisy the Beagle. They both say hello. And lovey-dovey to all of you.